Hello, folks. Welcome to the Mindset Artistry Podcast. I'm your host, David DiPaolo. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the Mindset Movement. Today's episode is going to be about fatherhood. Yesterday was Father's Day. I did a post on my social media how being a father, fatherhood is the most important thing that I will ever do in my life. I firmly believe that. If you are a father, if you are a guardian, that is by far the most important and most special thing that you will ever do in your life. It is by far the biggest responsibility that you will ever have in your life. I say it all the time. My son is my why. He is why I do everything that I do. Being a father, that branches off into so many other directions in your life. It should branch off to your health, your mindset, how hard you work, what you do, the time that you put in with your child, you being present, the lessons that you teach them. And all of that should be making you better. All of that should be making you a better man. The example that you want to be for your children, that is so important. So it's not just about being a father. It should make you better. It should make you a better person. It should make you a better man. And for me, it has. Okay. My son is about to be 5 years old. I can definitely say since having him, and even the year leading up to it, knowing that we were trying and going to have a baby, it has changed me substantially. It has changed everything that I do and really has made me a better person, has made me a better man, because now all of a sudden it's not just about me. Okay. It's about what am I doing for my child? I have to do these things the right way. Okay. So that you have to understand it. So my personal development, my personal excellence is always on my mind, because I know that I have to do it right for him. Okay. So you have to understand the responsibility that comes along with being a father, with being a parent. And you need to understand that your children at that point come first. They are your why, and everything you do has to be for them. Now, I'm not saying you can't do things for yourself and you can't enjoy yourself sometime, but you see people who go overboard with that, right? So let's not go down that road. But look, fatherhood is the most important thing that I will ever do in my life. I'm going to get into a little bit further into this podcast why that is. Father's Day has changed for me over the years too, just because when I was younger, my father passed away when I was 15 years old. Now, up until the time that he passed away, it was a very tragic and just happened, right? So, but up into that time, my father was my everything, right? Unfortunately, it happened at a time when you're kind of drifting away from your parents when you're a teenager, but I still know and value and understand all of the great lessons and values and morals and everything that he taught me and instilled in me. I still live by that. His legacy is important to me. His legacy of who he was and how much people loved him and how much people respected him and how much everyone, till this day still tells me how great of a man he was. So, I have to live up to that, right? I have to honor him as well by being as good as a man as it was. And it still is. Like, he's still with me. So Father's Day has changed a lot for me. I dreaded it. I hated Father's Day for the longest time. After he passed away, it was a void in my life. I seen other people with their fathers, and not that I, despised it or anything like that. It's just something that I couldn't enjoy. It's something that was painful for me. And really, losing a father at a young age does a lot to you. It really does. And, it sounds cliche to say, oh, okay, well, now you got to be the man of the house after that. And you do, right? Like, my mother never remarried. She never had, any relationships or anything like that. So I was. And it leaves a scar, right? It's something that you have to take with you all over the place. It becomes your identity. And I'll never forget, when my father passed away, again, I was 15, I was in high school. And right before he passed away, another guy in my class, his father passed away maybe like a month before that. And I remember the school did like a fundraiser for them and everything. And it was beautiful, a great thing that they did. And I remember like going to the teachers and everyone and telling them I didn't want that. I didn't want a fundraiser, and I didn't want any of that, because I didn't want that to be my identity, right? Like, and it bothered me that much. And And I'm not saying it wasn't a great thing, and that's what you should do. You should step up for your community and the people that you know that need help or are going through a tough thing. I just didn't want that. I wanted to bury it, right? Like I wanted to not think about it. I wanted to not have a spotlight on me. I just didn't want it, and I tried to bury it and suppress it, but it becomes part of your identity, right? Like you deal with it all the time. When someone's talking about their father, you have that void. When you're at holidays and people are enjoying their time with their fathers, you have that void. When you're at the ball game and this and that, playing sports, and your father's not there, you have that void. So it bothered me. It bothered me my whole life, and I hated Father's Day. And until I had my son, that's when it changed for me. That's when Father's Day became a whole other thing. And I don't look at it as like, hey, I need to be celebrated for Father's Day. I look at it as this is my time to reflect on what I do as a father, as a man, as a provider. And that's why it's special to me. And cool, it's great. It's great to celebrate, have fun with your family. Yesterday, we went to dinner with some family. It was amazing. It was great. And I appreciate it. And I loved it. But the biggest part to me, the biggest gratifying part of Father's Day is seeing my son and seeing how great he's doing and the great little man that he is and what he's being molded and shaped to be. And I know he's going to accomplish great things in life because I just see it already. I see the character that he has. I see all the attributes that he has. And that's what Father's Day is for me now, because I know that everything I do, everything I teach him, he sucks up like a sponge, and I love it. Like that's the biggest thing for me. And legacy is important to me. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. I think about my grandfather, my father's father. I think about my father a lot. I didn't know my mom's father. I don't even want to call him that. I won't call him a grandfather. He's a piece of shit. He wasn't in their lives. He was a total scumbag. So that's the other side of that, right? Like that's the opposite side of what a real man is. That's the opposite side of what a real father is. He was a piece of shit. But my father's father, my grandfather, my grandpa, was the best. He was such an incredible man. Came here from Italy as a young boy in the 20s, like most people from Italy did. Their family started a new life. Italians came here. They were looked down upon. They worked their asses off. He did great and amazing things in his life. My grandfather, they owned a store. He was the manager of warehouses, all these different things. I mean, the man knew how to do everything. I mean, there wasn't a thing that he didn't know how to do. And then I watched that, transfer over to my father and my uncle, and who were great men as well and great fathers. And they worked their asses off, did all the right things, were there, were present, always went places with us, took me and my cousin places all the time, did different things. We were always spending time together. All the lessons that they taught me, they made me the man that I am today. So that legacy, knowing that, what I also not only just owe to my son, but I owe to them as well, to continue on their legacy, that's very, very important to me. And it's something that I think about all the time. So fatherhood to me is a lot more than some people will probably look at it. But to me, that is everything. And look, the current state of men in this country, especially, and I can't speak to other countries, but here in the United States, it's not great. Right. There's a lot of very weak men out there. There's a lot of weak men out there raising children the wrong way. And it disgusts me in a lot of ways. And it's scary because the future that we're building with how these kids are being raised today, it's not good. It's not what America stands for. It's not what America was built on. And we really are seeing what happens when weak men raise children, or the absence of them, when they're not there at all. There's so many fatherless households now, and it's not good. It's not good, the direction that we're going in. And just, men are vilified now, right? Like we've seen that, especially in the last 10 years, just, how it tries to be downplayed all the time, like the importance of men and fathers and their role. And I think it's by design, and that's a different story. but we see it all the time. And, just the whole idea of, toxic masculinity and all this. And it's become like being masculine and being a man has become like frowned upon, right? And that's sad. Masculinity is not toxic. I firmly believe the absence of masculinity is toxic. The absence of fathers for their children is toxic. The absence of men with good values and morals is toxic. Are there shitty men out there? Yes, of course, right? But let's not lump every man out there and say it's toxic masculinity and all this other stuff because certain individuals are scumbags, okay? So we got to get away from that. We need to understand the value and importance of men and masculinity and what that is for their sons and daughters, okay? And look, I have a son. I don't have a daughter, so I can only speak to my responsibility to my son. But being a father to your daughters is as important. I have great friends and family who have daughters, and they are amazing fathers and men in their lives, right? Like your daughters need you too. So look, we really need to stop the narrative of that masculinity is bad and men are bad because our role is not replaceable. Okay. Yes, there's mothers out there doing it on their own. They're single mothers and they need to be commended as well, but they're not fathers. Okay. They cannot be. Okay. It is a different thing. And hats off to the men who have stepped in as guardians, as stepfathers, whatever you want to say, but you are their father. Okay. Like I don't care about the titles and labels of stepfather, guardian, this, that. If you are teaching and taking care of that child, you're their father. Whoever the other person is out there that chose not to, for whatever reason, is not. And we need to understand that and hats off to those men as well. Look, your responsibility as a father, as a man, it's a lot of things. It's to protect, okay? It's to provide, it's to teach, and it's to lead, and to lead by example, okay? You have to show them the example, right? You have to lead by example. But everything you're teaching them to do, the stuff that you're telling them they have to do or not do, you have to live that as well. Because if not, they are going to look at you like you are a fraud. You are a liar. They are not going to listen to you. They are not going to trust you. They are not going to respect you. And they are not going to believe you when you're telling them that to do all these things the right way when you yourself is not. So that's the responsibility that you need to understand. Okay? You need to be healthy. Okay? You need to be physically fit. Okay? You need to work hard. Okay? You need to show them that you work hard. You need to show them the importance of that. The hard work that you put into different things, whether that be your school, your work, your career, your job, getting stuff done around the house, your responsibilities. They need to see that. Okay? Or they're never going to do that. That, like, if you're sitting on the couch, laying down, out of shape, feeding your face, eating bad food, they're going to see that. And they're going to think that's the right behavior. So you need to understand that everything that you do, they are sucking up like a sponge. Okay? So they need to see you doing it the right way. Your mindset, so important. Okay? If you're negative all the time, if you're blaming people all the time about other things, if you have victimhood mentality and you're always the victim and everyone else is always wrong and you're always right and you can never admit when you've done things wrong and you never make changes, positive changes to better yourself or better your situation, they're going to see that. Okay? Maybe it works in the beginning, but eventually they're going to look at you and be like, wow, like this is everything I was taught and learned from this man. It was wrong and bad, and they're going to despise you and they're going to hate you one day for it. You got to understand this. Like, you have to understand everything you do or say they see, and they're going to replicate it. Okay, and either they're going to follow in your footsteps later on in life and follow that same pattern or behavior, or eventually it's going to click in their mind and they're going to say, wow, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like my father. Like, look what he, how he is. Like, I don't want to be that. And they're going to despise you. Okay. That bothers me. Like, that idea keeps me up at night. That idea drives me insane, knowing that at some point in time, my son might look at me in a negative light and maybe not respect me or appreciate me. So again, going back to my why, everything that I do is for that reason. I have to be healthy. I have to be strong. I have to be mentally tough. I have to have a great mindset. I have to, teach him the right things. I have to live by what I'm teaching him. I have to work hard. I have to provide. I have to always go out there and work on being better, being a better man. And he needs to see that. And I need to lead by example. I need to lead from in front, because I can sit here till I'm blue in the face, telling him all the things that he needs to do or not do in life. And one day it's going to click that I didn't do all the things that I should be doing or not doing myself. Okay. And that bothers me, that I can't have that. All right. So that is why I do things the right way. And I'm always putting myself in check, and I'm always making sure that I'm doing things the right way. And I've apologized to my son so many times. Like, there's been times where I've handled things the wrong way. There's been times where I lost my cool. There's been times where I let my frustrations or emotions get the best of me. And I have zero problem saying to him, son, I am sorry. I shouldn't have handled it that way. That was not the right way. Dad did it wrong, but I'm going to learn from it and get better. I'm not going to do that anymore. And I don't want you to do it. Like, so many men and fathers have a problem doing that, but I want my son to know that I'm human too, and I make mistakes also. Okay. Because then he can understand that he can as well. Okay, because you learn so much more from your mistakes and your failures than you ever will from your successes and all the things that you do right. Okay, so that's how important fatherhood is. That's the way that you need to look at it. That is what your mindset needs to be. That is what you need to understand. That is your responsibility. Your time, your attention that you give to your children is so important. It's more important than anything that you could give them. Money, possessions, all this other crap. Like, that doesn't matter. What matters is your time and your attention. What matters is you telling them the right way. What matters is you teaching them and leading from example. Spend the time with them. Do different things, do cool things, do fun things, listen to them. If they're having a bad day, talk to them. Why? What's the matter? Tell me what's bothering you about this. Like, your attention being there, showing that you are interested in what they do. And like, that is very, very important. Their worlds are a lot different than ours. Okay. Their worlds are a lot smaller than ours. They don't have the same responsibilities and stress and different things, and they haven't seen the world the way that we have. Okay, so you need to understand that. You need to be patient. You need to be understanding to what they are going to do. Your actions, how you act, how you look, what you do, that is what is important. They see that. They understand that. You need to be present. You need to be there for them. Like, I can't drill this stuff in enough. It is so important. I'm very hard on my son as well. Okay. As much as I am understanding and empathetic to him, I am also very hard. This is a conversation that I have with my wife. It's not fun. I don't want to be mean to him. I don't want to correct him. I don't want to, make him upset or make him cry. But there's times where I need to put him in check, and he needs to understand the right things to do. He needs to understand the values and how this world works. He needs to understand that, this is how you act, because what I am doing is molding him into the man that he is going to be one day. And it starts now. It starts now. It starts when he's 5 years old. It starts when they're young, because if not, if they pick up a pattern of bad behaviors and continue to go down that road, it is much harder to cut that out later on in life than it is to teach them the right way now. So I know that. And I'm not easy on him, okay? And I'm not going to be. And he can be upset, but I know at the end of the day, later on in life, that is what's going to make him a better man. That is what's going to make him a better person. And he's going to look back one day and say, I know my father was hard on me, but he was hard on me for a reason. And I have the values and the morals and these intangibles in my life that other people out there don't have, because my father took the extra time to teach me the right way. And anytime I am hard on him, I not too long after that, will explain to him why I was. I will take him aside and I will talk to him and explain to him, hey, look, this is why I said that. This is why you were punished. This is why I took that away from you. This is why I did this. And they need to understand it, because if you just do it and then don't explain it to them, they're just going to think you're being mean. They need to know the lesson. They need to know why you did it. Okay. It works for me. It works a great deal. Everyone tells me how well behaved my son is, how mannerly he is, all the great things that he does. He's funny. He's smart. He's tough. He's strong. He's intelligent. He's wise for being a 5-year-old. And I hear that, and I know it's people not just capping my head up, because I see it too. And That's how I know things are being done the right way. Now, am I perfect? No. Do I make mistakes? Yes. Is this the best and the way to do it? I don't know. But it's working. It works for me, and I've seen it work for others. And I think other people should be doing it as well. And they need to understand all of these parts, all these branches, like I said earlier, that go into fatherhood and why it is so important and why it is the most important thing that you will ever do if you are a father, if you are a guardian. If you like this podcast, please like it and share it. I'll leave some comments, some stories maybe that you have about being a father, maybe some advice. I'm always open to different things. But thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the Mindset Movement. And I will see you all next week. Bye.